Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel IELTS with Ben, and today we're going to be talking about the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, what it is and how to plan and structure your answer to get a high band score. My name is Ben Prince and I'm a Cambridge qualified IELTS teacher. So firstly, what is the Academic Writing Task 1? You will be asked to describe the data contained in one of 6 main types of chart. The types of chart are maps, diagrams, bar charts, tables, line graphs, and pie charts. You will need to write an academic report on the data contained in the charts. You need to write at least 150 words. You should spend around 20 minutes on task 1, which will give you 40 minutes to do task 2. And task 1 is worth around 33% or 1/3 of your overall score for the writing section. So how is the writing task 1 scored? You're actually scored on 4 different areas. Each area contributes 25% to your overall score. The first area is task achievement. Have you done what the question asked you to do, and how well have you done it? The second area is coherence and cohesion. How well did you describe the data? Is it logical? Is it well ordered and paragraphed? And does it make sense? The third area is lexical resource, which is just a fancy way of saying vocabulary. How good is your vocabulary? And the fourth is grammatical range and accuracy. Are you using a good range of grammar structures? And is your grammar correct, or are there any mistakes? This is the scoring matrix, showing how each of the 4 areas are scored. Feel free to pause the video and have a good look, but I'm also going to put a link to the document in the description below. So this is the chart that we are going to be using. The bar chart shows the percentages of the Canadian workforce in 5 major industries in 1850 and 2020. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So the first paragraph that we need to write is to say what the graph is about, but we can't do it the same way as it's said in the question. So in the question it says the bar chart shows the percentages of the Canadian workforce in 5 major industries in 1850 and 2020. So we need to write that, but in a different way. So we could put something like, the chart divides the Canadian workforce into 5 categories based on the type of industry they work in for the years 1850 and 2020. So we said the same thing as it says in the question, but in a different way, using different words. And that's our first paragraph. So next, we need to look at the data. What can we see? What has changed between 1850 and 2020? What are the main trends? And this is going to be our next paragraph, the main trends. And so for me, the most obvious thing here is the increase in the number of people working in services. Next, a big decrease in the number of people working in manufacturing and agriculture and fishing, a small increase in the people working in construction, and a decrease in people working in energy and water. And so our next paragraph is going to highlight the main trends, which for me are the big increase in people working in services and the decrease in people in manufacturing. And so our next paragraph could be something like this. The overall trend shown in the data is a steep rise in the proportion of employees engaged in the service industry, coupled with a decline in manufacturing. The most salient feature is that in 2020, 81% of the workforce were involved in providing services, which contrasts sharply with the figure of 33% in 1850. In contrast, we observe a huge drop in the manufacturing industry from over a third in the mid-19th century to just 9% by the early 21st century. I want you to look at the vocabulary we're using here. Words like steep rise instead of a big rise, engaged in instead of working in the service industry, coupled with meaning together with, the most salient meaning noticeable or important, contrast sharply, and we observe instead of we can see. And here, the mid-19th century, rather than repeating 1850 over and over again. This is great use of vocabulary, and it also helps a lot with the flow of the text, giving us better cohesion and coherence score. Okay, so our next paragraph is going to look at the rest of the data, the less obvious data we didn't include in the previous paragraph. For our next paragraph, I have written this. Furthermore, the 170-year period saw a marked fall in the agriculture and fishing sectors, leaving food production with a tiny 1% of Canadian workers. Similarly, workers in energy and water companies decreased by 2/3. On the other hand, the construction industry experienced significant growth from 5% to 8% over the period. Note that we've started the paragraph with a good linking word, furthermore, and we continue to use linking words like similarly and on the other hand as we present each piece of data. We have now described the data in a good, logical and coherent way. We've used a range of grammar structures and a good range of vocabulary. Here we've written 159 words, which is just above the 150 words we need to write. But if you have time, you could add a short summary, like this. In general, the job profile of the Canadian workforce changed radically between 1850 and 2020, with the increases coming in the construction and service industry, but all other areas seeing a decline. We now have a comfortable 191 words. So remember to follow these steps. Number 1. Analyze the chart. Identify the main data and trends, and then the secondary data. Write paragraph 1, what the graph is about, but in a different way than it says in the question. Then write paragraph 2, what are main trends and data points. And then paragraph 3, other or secondary data, and then, if you have time, a short conclusion. And remember the scoring. As you're writing, remember that you're going to be scored on task achievement. Have you done what the questions asked you to? Coherence and cohesion. Is it logical? Does it make sense? Lexical resource. Are you using a good and varied vocabulary? And grammar range and accuracy. Are you using good grammar and are you using it correctly? So, remember and follow these points to get a good score on the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. Please feel free to leave us a comment. And I will be posting regular videos to help you with your IELTS tests, so hit the like and subscribe buttons and press the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. And last of all, good luck with your IELTS. I really hope you get the score you need to achieve your dreams. Goodbye.